Chosen ones, listen closely, because what I'm about to say is not random, it is confirmation. When they looked at you, they saw nothing. They misjudged your silence as weakness. They mistook your storms for your end. They counted you out as if your story had already been written. But what they didn't see was the God who was writing in invisible ink. And now the words are beginning to glow. They thought the pain broke you. They thought the betrayal crushed you. They assumed the rejection would silence you. They counted you out before the bell even rang. They whispered, "It's over for them." But in that silence, you were being sharpened. In that loneliness, you were being recalibrated. In that exile, God was crowning you with strength. The very season they thought was your burial was only your planting. They thought you were common. They thought you were ordinary. But chosen ones, you were never walking in your own strength. They saw a fragile vessel. God saw His flame inside of you. And now the very thing they tried to extinguish is burning brighter than ever. Their mockery only fueled your fire. Their disbelief only pushed you deeper into alignment. And now they are witnessing a glow they cannot touch, a light they cannot dim, a power they cannot stop. They spread lies. They sabotaged opportunities. They tried to poison the room before you even entered it. But chosen ones, hear me. When God ordains the season, no human hand can lock what heaven has already opened. The stone they rolled in front of your destiny is being rolled away. The doors they slammed in your face are swinging open without their permission. And now, they are forced to watch as you walk through gates they swore you'd never reach. They saw the hits you took. They saw the betrayals that should have ended you. They saw the depression, the heartbreak, the losses. And they said, "There's no way they're coming back from this." But look at you now, still standing, still breathing, still rising. What they didn't realize was that God wasn't just preserving you, He was positioning you. And now, every scar they mocked has become the very testimony of your unstoppable spirit. Listen, the same people who laughed when you fell are not laughing anymore. The same ones who threw dirt on your name are choking on the dust of their own bitterness, because karma is circling back, because the energy they released has found its way home. And while they sit in regret, you are stepping into reward. The betrayal was their weapon, but it became your blessing. Their hands wrote the chapter of pain, but God turned the page into power. Every trap was overturned. Every curse was reversed. Every plan against you has dissolved in the presence of God's promise. You, chosen one, are not just surviving. You are thriving. You are walking proof that divine timing outruns human plotting. And what they thought would end you has only elevated you. They mistook your quiet seasons for defeat. They thought your absence meant you had nothing left. They assumed your stillness was the end of your story. But chosen one, your silence was your strategy. In the shadows, you healed. In the secret place, you recharged. In the unseen, you rebuilt. And now your return is louder than their gossip. Your rise is stronger than their resistance. What they thought was your ending was only your gathering of strength. They celebrated when you fell. They laughed when you lost. They spread stories about your downfall as if it were permanent, but their celebration was premature, because God was only setting the stage for a reversal. What looked like a loss was just a setup for your breakthrough, and now their cheers have turned into confusion. They can't explain why the one they buried is the same one God has raised. They can't understand how the stone they rolled shut has been broken open by divine hands. And now, the very mouths that mocked you, you are being silenced by your victory. They tried to measure you by their standards. They tried to limit you by their logic. They tried to put you in the box of their own imagination. But the anointing on your life could never be contained. Chosen ones, your path was never supposed to make sense to them. The oil on you was hidden, but now it's undeniable. And the same people who dismissed you as nothing are now forced to witness the evidence of God's hand on everything you touch. They spread rumors, they threw lies, they planted weeds in your field, thinking your harvest would die. But chosen ones, God turned every weed into proof of His power. The lies only highlighted your truth. The betrayal only revealed your loyalty. The poison they planted only purified your spirit. And now they are left choking on the bitterness they sowed, while you are feasting on the blessings they could never stop. They thought you were alone. They thought you had no backup. They thought you were just another soul stumbling in the dark. But chosen ones, you were never walking alone. The angels surrounded you. The Spirit guided you. The hand of God never left you. And now, the same ones who thought you were defenseless are realizing you were divinely shielded all along. Every arrow missed its mark. Every trap collapsed on itself. Every weapon formed has been broken before it touched you. They tried to dim your light. They tried to cover your shine. They tried to convince you that you were invisible. But your glow was never powered by them. It was powered by the Creator Himself, and no gossip, no slander, no betrayal could dim what Heaven Himself ignited. Now, everywhere you step, your presence speaks louder than their words. Every room you enter, your energy dismantles their schemes. And every move you make proves that you were chosen for something far greater than their understanding. Chosen one, I need you to hear me. Every count against you has turned into a testimony for you. Every no they spoke has become God's yes. Every time they dismissed you, God was elevating you. You are unstoppable, not because of what you did alone, but because heaven has decreed it so. Behind closed doors, they whispered your name. They strategized your downfall. They masked their envy with fake smiles. But what they didn't know is that heaven hears every conversation. Their plots were revealed, their schemes unraveled, their masks slip, and chosen one, the truth always finds its way to the surface. Now they are exposed, standing in the light of their own deception, while you are rising, shielded by divine protection. They saw you broken, they saw you tired, they saw you worn down by the weight of the battles, and they swore you'd never recover. But God specializes in resurrection. Chosen one, you don't just bounce back, you rise higher. You don't just heal, you transform. You don't just return, you return with double. And now your comeback is louder than their doubt. Your recovery is greater than their resistance. Your new chapter is stronger than their imagination. They wanted people to forget you. They tried to silence your voice. They thought removing you from the room meant you'd be forgotten forever. But what they didn't know is this: when God marks a name, no human hand can erase it. Your name has been carved into destiny. Your voice echoes louder than before. Your presence is undeniable, even in places they tried to block you from entering. And now, the same ones who tried to erase you, they are forced to hear your name spoken in rooms they'll never step into. Every time you succeed, it burns them. Every time you smile, it convicts them. Every time you glow, it reminds them of their failure, because they thought they had the power to control your outcome. But chosen ones, your blessings were never in their hands, and now what they tried to keep from you is multiplying in front of their eyes. They are tormented by the overflow. They are restless in the face of your reward, and the very abundance they tried to steal is the evidence of God's unstoppable favor on your life. They thought the storm would drown you. They thought the fire would consume you. They thought the weight would crush you. But chosen one, your endurance is supernatural. The storm refined you. The fire purified you. The weight only builds your strength. And now they stare in disbelief, asking themselves, how did they survive this? But the truth is, you didn't just survive. You were reborn, stronger than they can comprehend, unstoppable in a way they can never explain. Remember this: the promise has always been that God would prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. And that's exactly what's happening now. While they sit in hunger, you sit in abundance. While they wander in circles, you walk in destiny. While they regret their betrayal, you are tasting the sweetness of victory. And the same ones who tried to starve you, you are being forced to watch you feast. Chosen one, the story isn't just about their betrayal, it's about your destiny. They counted you out, but every count against you became fuel for your unstoppable rise. You are not just proving them wrong, you are proving God right. When the rain poured, they cheered. When the thunder roared, they thought it was over for you. But what they didn't know was that you were hidden under divine shelter. The storm couldn't take you out because the storm wasn't sent to drown you. It was sent to reveal who stood with you. And now, as the skies clear, your strength is shining while their laughter has turned into silence. They came to you with demands. They came to you with manipulation. They fed on your kindness like parasites, taking without ever giving. They thought if they drained you enough, you'd collapse. But chosen one, they underestimated the source of your strength. You weren't powered by their validation. You weren't fueled by their approval. You were sustained by God Himself. Now, while they sit exhausted in their own schemes, you are renewed, refreshed, and restored, glowing with an energy they cannot comprehend. They spread stories. They exaggerated your mistakes. They painted you as the villain in their false narrative. And they thought the world would believe them. But chosen ones, the truth always outlives the lie. Their words faded. Their rumors collapsed. Their stories lost power. And now you're living proof that God writes the final chapter. Not gossip, not lies, not human mouths. Their slander couldn't stop your rise. And now your life is the loudest rebuttal to every word they spoke. Deep down, they didn't hate you for who you were. They hated you for the calling they could never bear. They saw your gift. They saw your light. They saw the favor that follows you. And instead of celebrating it, they despised it. But chosen ones, envy is proof of your uniqueness. They can mimic your style. They can copy your words. They can imitate your moves. But they cannot duplicate your anointing. And now, while they struggle to replicate what only God gave you, you're thriving in the authenticity they will never touch. They thought your heartbreak would define you. They thought your wounds would leave you bitter. They thought the betrayal would keep you stuck in pain forever. But chosen ones, your healing has shocked them. The smile they thought they'd stolen has returned. The peace they thought they shattered has multiplied. The love they thought they crushed has grown even stronger. And now, your healed spirit stands as undeniable proof that no wound inflicted by man can block the restoration of God. What they did casually, heaven is judging seriously. What they treated as nothing, God saw as injustice. And now, the energy they sent out is circling back. They laughed while you cried, now they cry while you rise. They pushed you down, now they are being pushed aside. They counted you out, now they are watching you count blessings in abundance. The cost of betrayal is heavy, and they are carrying the weight of it while you are walking in freedom. Chosen one, this is not the end of their story, and it's not the end of yours. Every time they thought they closed the book on you, God wrote another chapter. Every no they gave you has been turned into a divine yes. And the proof of your unstoppable spirit is unfolding right now. They pushed you away. They left you out. They turned your name into silence in their circles. They believed that loneliness would crush your spirit. But chosen one, isolation became your incubation. In the stillness, you found your voice. In the solitude, you found your strength. In the silence, you found your God. And now, you stand fortified, while they are lost in the very crowds they used to mock you from. They thought your generosity was a weakness. They thought your compassion made you an easy target. They believed that using you would destroy you. But what they didn't realize is this: kindness is not weakness, it's power under control. Every time they tried to take advantage of you, heaven took note. And every act of kindness that was abused has now returned as divine favor, multiplying in your life. They mistook your heart as fragile, but now your heart has become the very reason you're blessed beyond measure. They wanted you to doubt yourself. They spoke lies to make you question your worth. They twisted the truth to make you forget who you were. But chosen ones, the enemy always attacks identity when destiny is near. You didn't just survive the confusion, you discovered clarity. You didn't just fight through lies, you embraced truth. You didn't just question, you remembered. You are chosen, anointed, and unstoppable. Now your confidence terrifies them because you know exactly who you are. They mocked your first step. They ridiculed your humble start. They thought your little was all you'd ever have. But chosen one, small beginnings are the seeds of mighty harvests. What they laughed at has grown into what they now envy. What they dismissed as nothing has become undeniable proof of God's favor. And the same ones who sneered at your start will have no choice but to watch your finish. They thought their head start guaranteed their success. They thought their numbers meant power. They thought their popularity meant permanence. But chosen ones, it's not about who starts first. It's about who is sustained. and while their fire has burned out, yours is still blazing. While their influence fades, your impact grows. While their strength collapses, your endurance thrives. They never imagined it, but you were built to last longer than every one of them. They thought stabbing you in the back would kill your spirit. They thought breaking your trust would destroy your future. They thought closing the door on you would erase your destiny. But chosen ones, betrayal was only the trigger for transformation. The pain became the push. The wound became the wisdom. The ending became the entrance into something new. And now, the very betrayal they thought would end you has launched you into a life they'll never touch. Chosen one, every attempt to bury you has only made your roots grow deeper. Every attempt to silence you has only made your voice stronger. Every attempt to count you out has only revealed that God already counted you in. They saw the scars. They saw the tears. They saw the moments you staggered under the weight of it all. And they said, "This is proof they're finished." But chosen ones, your wounds became your wisdom. Every scar tells a story of survival. Every tear watered the soil of your resilience. Every stumble only proved your determination to keep moving forward. And now, the very marks they mocked are the medals of your unstoppable strength. They dug up old mistakes. They rehearsed old failures. They replayed old pain. They thought reminding you of where you've been would keep you from stepping into where you're going. But chosen one, your past is not your prison. It is your proof. It is the evidence of just how far God has carried you. And now, while they weaponize yesterday, you are already standing in tomorrow. They piled weight on you. They pushed responsibility onto you. They tried to crush you under impossible expectations. They thought the pressure would destroy you. But chosen one, pressure doesn't destroy, it refines. Every ounce of weight only revealed your brilliance. Every crushing moment only uncovered the diamond within you. Now, you shine in a way that blinds the very ones who tried to break you. They laughed at your prayers. They ridiculed your hope. They scoffed at your belief in something greater. They called you foolish for trusting God when nothing seemed to change. But chosen ones, faith always gets the last word. And now, the prayers they laughed at are being answered in ways they can't explain. The hope they ridiculed has become the foundation of your rise. And the God they mocked is the very one exalting you before their eyes. They blacklisted your name. They locked you out of opportunities. They thought shutting doors would leave you stuck. But what they didn't understand is this: God doesn't need their doors. He builds His own. And when He opens one, no man can close it. Now, while they sit guarding gates that no longer matter, you are walking through entrances they never had access to. They thought failure would stop you. They thought rejection would silence you. They thought hardship would paralyze you. But chosen ones, resilience is your superpower. You've been knocked down, but you rise again. You've been doubted, but you believe again. You've been wounded, but you love again. And every time you get back up, it terrifies them, because they realize there's nothing they can do to truly stop you. They came at you with gossip, betrayal, and manipulation. They fought dirty, thinking you'd lower yourself to their level. But chosen one, you didn't fight back with their weapons. You fought in prayer. You fought in silence. You fought in faith. And while they exhausted themselves in petty battles, you tapped into spiritual strength that made you untouchable. Chosen one, everything they used against you has only revealed what was always true. You are chosen. You are preserved. You are unstoppable. They thought your waiting meant hesitation. They thought your stillness meant defeat. They thought your calm meant you had no fight left. But chosen one, patience is not weakness. Patience is power in disguise. While they rushed, you trusted. While they scrambled, you listened. While they forced, you flowed. And now, the fruit of your patience is ripening in front of them, while the chaos of their haste consumes them. When they pushed you away, they thought they'd close the last door. When they abandoned you, they thought they left you stranded. When they excluded you, they thought you'd fade into nothing. But chosen ones, rejection was redirection. What they thought was abandonment was God's positioning. And the rejection that broke your heart became the doorway to your real destiny. They saw you tired, they saw you drained, and they assumed you were finished. But what they didn't see was the fire still burning inside of you. Chosen one, your flame is not earthly, it is eternal. It cannot be snuffed out by betrayal. It cannot be dimmed by failure. It cannot be drowned by opposition. And now, the fire within you is consuming every limit they tried to place upon you. They pointed at your flaws. They magnified your mistakes. They tried to chain you with guilt. They thought shame would silence you forever. But chosen one, shame was shattered by grace. Every mistake has been turned into a lesson. Every failure has been woven into wisdom. Every shadow has been lit by God's mercy. Now, instead of being defined by shame, you shine as living proof of redemption. They saw the battles wear you down. They saw the endless nights. They saw the exhaustion on your face. And they thought, this is it. They can't go any further. But chosen ones, God renews the weary. Where your strength ended, His began. Where your energy faded, His Spirit carried you. And now you move with a strength that confuses them, because they don't understand how you're still standing when they expected you to fall. They saw you walk low. They saw you move quietly. They saw you serve without demanding recognition. And they assumed you had nothing. But chosen ones, humility is heaven's favorite disguise. And while they were showing off, you were being lifted. While they sought attention, you sought alignment. And now, the quiet seed of humility has grown into a tree of honor they cannot cut down. When you walked through the lowest seasons of your life, they thought that valley was your end. They mistook the shadows for a tomb. But chosen ones, the valley was never your grave. It was your classroom. It was your training ground. It was the place where you learned endurance that mountaintop people will never understand. And now, the valley has only prepared you for the peak they said you'd never reach. Chosen one, do you see the pattern yet? Every attack, every betrayal, every rejection, it all became proof that you cannot be stopped. They counted you out, but God never did. And that's why you're still here, rising higher than ever. When things were stripped from your life, they said it was over for you. When relationships ended, when doors closed, when seasons shifted, they whispered, see, they're being punished. But chosen one, pruning is never punishment. Pruning is preparation. What was cut off was making room for fruit. What was taken away was clearing space for abundance. Now, the branches they thought were barren are bursting with unstoppable growth. When the blessing didn't come quickly, they mocked your waiting. When the breakthrough took longer than expected, they said, see, nothing's happening for them. But chosen ones, delay is never denial. It is divine timing. It is heaven setting the stage, aligning every piece, preparing every detail. And now, as your moment arrives, it proves that what looked delayed was actually divinely orchestrated. They thought your battles would leave you crippled. They thought the constant opposition would drain your spirit dry. They never imagined you'd make it out of what tried to kill you. But chosen one, every battle built you. Every war sharpened you. Every attack only revealed the unshakable foundation beneath you. And now, your very survival is the testimony they cannot deny. They wanted you to stay average. They wanted you to stay silent. They wanted you to disappear into the background. They never expected you to shine. But chosen ones, your light was never meant to be hidden. Even when you tried to shrink, you couldn't. Even when you tried to hide, your spirit radiated. Even when you stayed quiet, your energy spoke louder than their noise. And now, you are standing out in ways they can't ignore. They lured you into repeating mistakes. They tempted you with the same patterns. They tried to drag you back into old versions of yourself. They thought you'd stay stuck forever. But chosen one, cycles were broken. What enslaved you yesterday no longer holds power today. The addictions, the patterns, the familiar traps, they shattered when you chose alignment with God. And now, the same snares that caught them cannot touch you. They believed their acceptance determined your worth. They thought their platform controlled your opportunities. They thought their approval defined your future. But chosen ones, destiny is not dictated by man. It is authored by God alone. And no hater, no betrayer, no manipulator has the power to alter what heaven already wrote. Now, while they scramble for control, you walk in freedom. And the unstoppable truth is this: nothing they do can cancel what God has confirmed. Chosen one, the evidence is overflowing. Every scheme, every lie, every betrayal has only highlighted your unstoppable nature. They counted you out, but what they didn't realize is that God had already counted you in. When you stopped arguing, they thought you had nothing left to say. When you pulled back, they assumed you were finished. But chosen one, silence was your strategy. It was your way of conserving energy. It was your way of letting God fight battles words could never win. And now, the very silence they mocked has birthed a louder testimony than their noise ever could. They assumed betrayal would make you bitter. They believed loss would make you cold. They thought rejection would turn your heart to stone. But chosen ones, instead of hardening, you softened. Instead of closing off, you opened up. Instead of bitterness, you chose healing. And now your heart carries a strength they will never understand, the strength to love after being broken. They never thought your voice would carry. They never thought your story would matter. They never thought your name would be spoken beyond their circle. But chosen one, God is spreading your name in rooms you haven't even entered yet. Your testimony is traveling. Your impact is multiplying. And the same name they tried to bury is now being lifted by divine hands. They watched the winds rage. They saw the waves crash. They thought there was no way you'd survive. But chosen ones, the storm did not swallow you, it strengthened you. It taught you endurance. It built your faith. It revealed your anchor. And now, you walk with the authority of someone who has weathered tempests and lived to tell the tale. They whispered lies. They planted seeds of confusion. They tried to make you question the voice of God in your life. But chosen one, doubt never won. Even in your questioning, you still leaned on faith. Even in your uncertainty, you still walked forward. And now, your calling shines clearer than ever. They cannot shake what heaven has sealed. They believed the weight of your past would keep you from speaking out. They thought guilt would chain your voice. They assumed fear of exposure would muzzle you forever. But chosen ones, shame lost its grip. Your past became a weapon of testimony. What once embarrassed you now empowers others. And the very thing they tried to use against you has become the proof that you are unstoppable. They pushed jealousy your way. They wanted you to compare yourself until you collapse. They tried to poison your spirit with competition. But chosen one, you didn't need to compete. Your lane is your lane. Your journey is your journey. You understood that what God has for you cannot be stolen, delayed, or denied. And now, while they rot in envy, you flourish in abundance. Chosen one, every accusation collapses, every attempt fails, every scheme backfires. Because while they counted you out, the heavens counted you worthy. Unstoppable is the only word that fits your story. They assumed the pain would turn you cold. They believed the lies would twist your heart. They tried to rewrite your character in their favor. But chosen ones, betrayal only refined you. It revealed your discernment. It sharpened your wisdom. It strengthened your boundaries. And now, you walk free from the chains they tried to place around your spirit, untouchable in your divine identity. They thought that when you stopped fighting, you had lost. They believed your quiet moments were a defeat. But chosen one, silence was your weapon. It allowed God to move. It allowed angels to fight battles unseen. It allowed your enemies to expose themselves while you stayed guarded. And now, your voice returns, louder than ever, while theirs is exposed as weak and hollow. They tried to dictate your path. They attempted to control the chapters of your life. They acted like they had the pen. But chosen ones, God has always been the author. Every plot they planted, every door they shut, every lie they told, has been rewritten into victory. And now your story is unstoppable, authored by heaven, edited by divine favor, and admired by those they never expected. They watched as life's waves threatened to pull you under. They whispered, they'll never reach their dreams. But chosen one, storms are only temporary. They cannot touch the vision God placed in you. They cannot drown the calling on your life. And now, the vision is clearer than ever, visible to all who doubted, while they are left bewildered by your rise. They spread lies about your abilities. They minimized your achievements. They questioned your worth at every turn. But chosen ones, confidence rooted in God cannot be shaken. You know your value is divine. Your abilities are ordained. Your calling is unstoppable. The stage is set, the fire is roaring, the moment is divine, and the final revelation, the ultimate truth, the climactic declaration is ready to descend upon your spirit. Chosen one, hear me clearly. Every moment you were doubted, every door that closed, every betrayal that pierced your heart, it was never the end. It was a preparation. It was a refining. It was the divine orchestration of a life too powerful to be contained. You are not here by accident. You are not here by chance. You are here because heaven planted you in this exact season, in this exact place, for this exact purpose, and nothing, not their jealousy, not their lies, not their schemes, can ever stop what God has ordained. Look at yourself now. Feel the unstoppable power coursing through your spirit. This is the same power that parted seas, that raised the broken, that moved mountains. This is the power that has been carrying you through every trial, every storm, every shadow of doubt. And it will carry you forward into a destiny so magnificent that those who counted you out will stand in awe. Your story is not just survival, it is triumph. Your scars are not shame, they are testimony. Your setbacks are not failures, they are stepping stones. And your rise, unstoppable, unshakable, undeniable, will echo far beyond the reach of those who tried to stop you. Chosen one, you are more than a survivor. You are a warrior. You are a vessel of purpose. You are a reflection of divine favor. And as you step boldly into the life God has designed for you, remember this: nothing in the natural realm can overpower what heaven has already decreed. So rise, stand tall, speak boldly, shine relentlessly, walk confidently, and let every single step be a declaration that you are unstoppable. Because you are chosen, you are anointed, and you are divinely equipped for greatness. The world may have counted you out, but God has counted you in, and nothing can ever stop you again. Chosen one, if this message has stirred your spirit, strengthen your community of the faithful by joining together. Like this video, comment your victory, and subscribe to share the unstoppable power of God with every other chosen soul watching. Together we rise. Together we shine. Together we are unstoppable. Amen.